So let's see if we can do better, right?
She thought it was
All right, question number 1.
touching me.
Guys, you need to get started. We have a lot to do. So here we go. Number 1. We had a quiz over this, but it's been a while, so I thought we better review it. Here we go. Who remembers how we do this problem? Who remembers? Asia. Okay, so first of all, we're going to recognize that these are ordered pairs. This says x is 1, y is 3, x is 4, y is 5. So I have given you 2 points. Right? Now what do the directions say? Write the equation of the line. Now I know it says linear function, that's just fancy talk for line. So how do we write the equation of a line? You gotta find a slope. So the slope would be 5 minus 3 over 4 minus 1, 5y minus y, x minus x, which is 2/3.
Yes.
Now what? Y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. So I can pick a point. I'll pick this one. 3 equals 2/3 times 1 plus b. So 3 equals 2/3 plus b, and b equals, let's see, 3 minus 2/3. What's 3 minus 2/3? 7/3. You can think of this as 9/3 minus 2/3. What else could you say besides 7/3? Well, 7/3 is great. If everybody says 7/3, that'll be perfect. So we have y equals positive 2/3 x plus 7/3. That is the equation of your line. Quincy.
If you plug into either one of the ordered pairs, would you come out with the same answer?
Yep. You sure would. So if you put 4 here and 5 here, you're going to get 8/3, and this is 15/3. That still gives you 7/3 when you subtract. Is everybody clear on that? Now I don't see you again for like a week. So you need to solidify this in your head, okay? Because we're not going to review again. All right, number 2. Find the vertex, axis of symmetry, and direction of opening. Now, problem number 1, or A here, is basic. What's the vertex? You can look right at it and tell me the vertex is where? -2, -4. This tells me I go left 2 and down 4. What's my axis of symmetry?
-2.
X equals -2?
Yeah.
And what's my direction of opening? Down. There is no work involved with that problem. It's automatic. The next one, not so much. The next one does not look like that equation. So you have a couple of choices. The directions don't tell you what you need to do. You have a couple of choices. Can anybody tell me what your choices are in finding the vertex?
Factor.
Oh, well, we don't really factor.
Like
Divide by 3.
Bring the 6 over.
Okay, so one option is to complete the square. Morgan, is that what you were going to say, complete the square? Or were you going to say something different? Okay, now I'm not going to take a 3 out. Well, actually, if I'm going to complete the square, I have to divide everything by 3 anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I am now beginning the process of putting the equation into this form. Okay? You can do the problem another way, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but since this is the first thing that popped into your head, this is how we'll start. Now, what do I do at this point? Subtract 2. Very good. Oops, subtract 2. Now I'm going to complete the square. You two are either going to behave, or we'll pretend like we're in kindergarten and I'll separate you.
I'm just so excited to do this.
Alright, how do we complete the square?
X.
Half of 4 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Now, why did I do that? What's special about this? Factors into what?
Perfect square.
Which is, for this problem? X minus 2. Very good. And over here, I'll add my negative 2 and my 4. Okay, you remember what happens next? Bring the 2 back over. So we'll have y over 3 equal x minus 2 squared minus 2. And then one more step, multiply by 3. And when I multiply the parentheses, but not what's in it. So I multiply the parentheses by 3 and the number by 3. Now, where's my vertex? 2, 6. Perfect. Write 2 down 6. What's my axis of symmetry? X equals 2?
Is it 2 negative 6?
Yeah,
Oh, it is. Thank you. Did I say up? I meant down. Write 2 down 6. And your axis of symmetry is x equals 2. And what's your direction of opening? Up. Now, before you turn the paper over, I want to remind you, you have another way of doing this problem that's a lot faster. The shortcut. And what's the shortcut way? How does that work? Go back to the original problem. How does the shortcut work? X equals negative b over 2a. So since the directions didn't tell us which way to do it, we could pick. This would be one option. Another option would be negative b over 2a. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Everybody understand where I got the 2? Negative b over 2a. Now how do I find my vertex from that? I know that x is 2, so I can plug 2 in. So I have 3 times 4, 2 squared, minus 24 plus 6. So 12 minus 24 plus 6, what is that? Negative 6. Oh my gosh, I got the same answer. Right? A little bit faster. A little bit less work. A lot faster. So you lazy people, you will love this, right? That goes a lot faster. As long as the directions don't say you have to complete the square, you don't have to. In the homework, there's a lot of problems that says complete the square. All right, turn it over, a couple more. This is another quiz on the back. All right, number 1 and 2 are kind of what we're doing right now. You might someday. Number 1, list the possible rational roots. this is the very last thing that we talked about. Does anybody remember the possible rational roots? Here we are. The possible rational roots. Anybody remember how we did that? Oh, there we go, Joseph. Awesome. Well,
Don't laugh at your
it's
class.
going to involve synthetic division. That's like step 2.
Oh, you find like the leading coefficient and I forget what that was called.
Okay, I'm going to be doing synthetic division, and to find the numbers that I'm going to do the synthetic division with, I take factors of the constant, and the constant is this term, the one with no x, over factors of the leading coefficient, which is 1. So they will be plus or minus, okay, factors of 16. 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. All over factors of 1, which that's just plus or minus 1. Those are the possible rational roots. That is all the question asked for. I'm done. I'm moving on. Now, I know in the notes, these problems can go on for a long, long time, and we're going to get them out. We're going to do that. But for this problem right now, all we had to do was list the PRRs, the possible rational roots. So one more time, how do we find them? Factors of constant over factors of leading coefficient. Now, Joseph, look at number 2. Sit up. Look excited. I know you're happy to be here. How could I figure out if this is a factor or not? Okay, what's it mean to be a factor? When I say 3 is a factor of 15, what does that mean? It goes in evenly with no remainder? So, John, you wait there, honey? If I did my synthetic division on this problem, when I wrote this quizzy-poo, I was tricky. Look there, where'd that come from? Why'd I stick that in there?
Because there's no X
Because there's a
squared.
power skipped, right? And when you skip a power, you have to put in a 0. So you gotta really be paying attention or you would miss that.
I thought the number that's in the box is the
What?
opposite. The number. Oh wait, no, never mind. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll bring my 3 state down. Here we go. We're doing synthetic division. Oh my, I got that. But double check that, would you, and make sure? I'm a little tired today, and I might be making, and a little stressed, getting ready for the tailgate tomorrow.
Tailgate, math lead,
Mathlete.
squared.
Is that what you got? Anybody match that?
Yeah.
What time is math league start?
Mathletes promptly, the contest starts at 7:15 Cathedral time, which means I don't care what your clock says. If this clock says 7:15, we're starting.
Can I check my phone real quick? to see,
No.
like, what time?
No, you should be here at 7. Getting a seat's gonna be hard. Opening day is always
Wait,
crazy.
getting a seat for what?
Yep, come early and have sausage and donuts.
For what?
What's the remainder? That was the question. Oh, no, no,
It's
no.
tomorrow,
Is it a
right?
factor? Why or why
No.
not?
Because the remainder is 0.
The remainder is negative 21. So the answer is no.
What tailgate?
I am not a factor because I have a remainder of negative 21. If it's a factor, what will this number be?
0.
0. Now I want to show you something else. This is an important piece to help you deal with some harder problems. I'm going to pretend, here's my problem, and I'm going to pretend, oops, that for some reason, I want to evaluate it at 2. I'm going to plug 2 in. All right, anybody know what 2 to the 4th is?
What?
I'm plugging 2 into my problem. I'm doing the same problem. What's 2 to the 4th? 16 times 3 is 48. What's 2 cubed? 8 times 9, 72. Plus 2 plus 1. All right, so now I'm going to add all this up. And 48, 49, 50. Oh my gosh. Wow. When I add it all up, I get negative 21.
Crazy.
In other words, when I plugged in the number I was dividing by, the answer I got is the remainder.
So it's a shortcut.
It's a shortcut if you don't want to do the synthetic division. Now, when it really comes in handy is when this power is something like a 40. Nobody in his right mind is going to divide if that's a 40. Because why? It's a lot of zeros, right? A lot of zeros. So in that case, I would definitely just plug in my number and that'll give me the remainder. If that turns out to be 0, that means you have a factor. That's the remainder. The number you get when you plug in is the remainder. All right, and finally number 3. This was a conversation we had a few days ago. Anybody remember anything about varies directly? Varies directly. What does that mean? Uh-oh.
Varies directly.
We have 2 choices. Y equals kx and y equals k over x. This one is direct. This one is inverse. Roberto. It's okay. It's all right. All right, so which one is it? It says direct. We're going to use the top equation. It says volume varies directly as temperature. So instead of y and x, I have v's and t's. Volume varies directly as temperature. Your strategy is one variable equals k times the other one. The volume is 20 when the temperature is 60. The volume is 20 when the temperature is 60. What does that give me? What information now can I get? K equals 1/3. How did we get K equals 1/3? Divided by 60. Find the temperature when the volume is 50. Here's my equation. This is the one I'm using. It says find the temperature, find T, when V is 50. How do I solve that?
50 equals 1/3 times.
Exactly. Thank you. We know K is 1/3. We figured that out in step 2. So multiply both sides by 3, and the temperature must be 150. Okay? That's a pretty good review of most of the stuff we've talked about so far. Except our most recent stuff, which is in our note sheet. So let's get our notes out. There isn't nap time. Come on, we got a lot of work to do. And I think we get out a little early today, actually.
What?
10 minutes.
Yeah, you get out at 2:50. That's a little bit early.
Did you stand up at the graduation today because
It's only 15 minutes early.
Yep, you only have to endure another 50 minutes.
Wow.
Can you do it?
No, I
honestly,
can't.
not really.
It's been a long weekend. It's work.
All right, everybody on page 18 of your notes. Here we go, page 18. This is the heart and soul. I need you paying attention because after we go over a couple of these, we're gonna have a quiz today.
What? I called it.
So I need you paying attention, right? Here we go.
Stop.
We're doing B. We already did A, but I know it was many days ago. So we're just gonna jump in with B,
I need to learn how to do the shortcut.
and here we go. Always, 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 when you are given one of these problems, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, can I factor by grouping? Because if you can factor by grouping, it will always be faster. And I know you guys are all about fast. All right, yesterday at Open Gym, I was working with a bunch of honors pre-cal students, and the theme is the same. You've got to factor by grouping if it factors by grouping, because that just saves you so much time. This one does not factor by grouping. So I have to guess. I have to pick numbers and guess them. What is my pile of numbers that I'm picking from? What are my PRRs? I don't want to just pick any random numbers. I want to focus my energy. What are the numbers I'm going to focus on? Factors of 6, which are 1, 2, 3, and 6, over factors of 1. Now, I'm not going to say this too many more times. Your PRRs are factors of your constant over factors of the leading coefficient. So write that down, pay attention. Ethan?
For the shortcut, because I'm not good at synthetic division, so I don't want to mess that up. What would I plug in for X?
You plug in one of these numbers for X.
And then I have to get 0.
And you have to get 0. Otherwise, you pick another one, and you just keep guessing until one of them gives you 0. So Ethan says, I don't want to do all this division. Now, at some point, he's going to have to do a division.
I will, but I don't know.
But he doesn't want to do a whole bunch of divisions. So he's going to just plug in numbers. He's going to say, okay, if I plug in 1, what happens? If I plug in 1, I get 1 minus 6. Oh my goodness! Look what happens when we plug in 1. Plug in 1 here, kids. Do it on your calculator if you need to. What you get is 0. Now, what does that mean? That means one of your factors is what?
0.
Not 1. X
Plus 1.
minus 1. If the factor is x minus 1, the dot goes at 1. And that's what we're doing, is sketching. But we're not ready to sketch yet. Once you have guessed a number, you're going to divide it out. So Ethan, you don't have any choice. At this point, you're going to divide it out. Now, we know what's going to happen right here, right? That better be a 0.
So even on the shortcut, I have to do division.
1 division. You only have to do 1. Because now, what's left here? What's this? Well, in the beginning it was x cubed. Now it's going to be x squared. So we have x squared minus 5x plus 6. And what can we do with that? Factor it into
X
X.
3 minus 6 plus 1.
No.
Minus 3 minus 2
Minus 3 minus 2. So there are your factors. All right. So I need you paying attention, we're gonna go back through those steps. Because we're not done with the problem. We still have to graph it. Right? It's a big one. But right now, let's go back through the steps. What's the first thing I did? I did my PRRs. After I determined I couldn't factor by grouping, I did my PRRs. And then I picked one and plugged it in, hoping, excuse me, it would give me 0. And it did. What if it hadn't given me 0?
Try again.
I try again with a different number. And I keep trying numbers until I get one that gives me 0. And then I divide it out. And why do I divide it out? Because when I divide, what I have left will factor. I don't have to guess anymore.
So that's where I get started.
So how many factors do I have all together?
After you divide it, how do you do that?
How many factors do I have all together? 3. I have these 2 and the one that I found originally. It's real easy to forget this guy. Don't forget him. So now I'm ready to graph it. Now that you have built your factors up here, where do the dots go? Where do my dots go? 1, 2, and 3. Yep. Real simple. They go 1, 2, and 3. Are any of them bounce offs or anything like that? Nope. It's a cube. Where does it start? Down,
Oh, yeah. Wait, what part?
passes through, ends up. There you go. You just sketched that big awful problem. Yep.
Where did you get the 1 and the?
It was the first number we guessed, and it gave me a 0. And as soon as something gives me a 0, I divide it out. So that one is the same as that one, and that's the number I guessed. Yes, this one.
So if, let's say that like 1 didn't give you 0 and 2 did, so would it be x minus 2 squared and x minus 3 in the problem?
Yeah, assuming that it would that it factored the same here. Yes. Yeah. If 2 happens twice, if you get 2 as your guess, and then when you factor, you get 2 again, yes, that would be a square. Now, that won't happen in this problem because if you guessed 2, which is fine, it would work. But when you divided out 2, you would get a different thing than this. Does that make sense to you? And it would factor differently.
How did you get x squared minus 5x?
Right here. This was x cubed to start with, so when I divide it, it goes down 1. So it's x squared minus 5x plus 6. All right, C, last one before we take our little quiz. See how we do. Oh, wait, no, there's one more. All right, let's try C. All right, we'll do this one together, and then I'll have you do D by your, with your partner. All right? So here we go. Does it factor by grouping? Now, you might think, I mean, things do kind of go together, but the problem is, when you tried to group, here you'd have an x plus 4, and here you'd have an x plus 6. What does that mean?
They're not equal.
They're not equal. So we can't do it. So what do? We can't group it. We still need to get it factored because we got to graph it.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Guess?
1, 2,
What
3,
numbers
6.
do you want to guess?
1, 2, 3, 6, 9,
Factors of 18, which would be 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Oh my gosh, that's a big list. Over 1. All right, so somebody work on this. Everybody work on it. Let's do a group project here.
The confusing
If
part
you
is
get a
hard.
0, let me know. Oh, she already knows.
Is
She
it
says,
positive two or
what'd you get,
negative?
Samantha?
Just pause.
2. She got 2 too. Everybody's getting 2.
I don't do that.
So one of my factors is 2. Now, if you plug 2 in, you get 8 plus 16 minus 6 minus 18. That's 24 minus 24, that's 0. Now, I don't know, did you guys try 1 first?
Yeah.
And 1 didn't work. So then you jump to 2. Somebody else might jump to -1. Somebody else might jump to 3. Who knows? You just start guessing. As soon as 1 equals 0, though, as soon as you guess a number that gives you a 0, you want to divide it out. Because we don't want to spend any more time guessing than we have to. It takes too long. So when I divide it out, there's that 0 that I knew I should get. And what's left here, Ethan? What's left here?
X squared minus 6 x plus 9.
Yep, that's what's left. Now, does that by any chance factor?
Yeah.
How does that factor? Well, watch it now. X plus 3, doesn't it? So I can write that. I might like it better if I write x plus 3 squared. Don't forget though, you got another one. What's this one? X minus 2. You can't forget that one. You got this x minus 2 guy right here that you guessed. You guessed the factor. So now you're going to sketch it. Now you're ready. You're going to have a dot at 2 and a dot at -3. This is a cube, right? Where's it start? Where's this cube start? Up or down? Where's it start? Cubes start down and up, folks. This starts down. What's it do when it hits that 3 right there? Bounces. That's a square. Bounces. What's it do when it hits the 2? Goes through. And there's your picture. Good job. There's a lot of work involved with that problem. Well, there's one more. Problem D. So here's what I want to do. I want to have volunteers with boards. You can use all the boards. And if you're not at the board, and you can bring a partner, you can work together at the board. But if you're not at the board, I want you to do it at your seats. So I need my volunteers. Who's going to come up? All right, right here. Let's go. Joseph, why don't you just do it right there? That work? And you guys, whoever volunteered, I need somebody to volunteer over here to do problem D as a team. Canada.
Which one are we doing?
It would be the same number that you plugged in or the same number you would grab. So if
all
you're
redo it.
plotting 2, then you know your factor is x minus 2.
You're doing D, I'm doing D.
So the number in the crow's nest is getting plugged. That's the dot.
Are we doing D?
So if this was.
It's the same number that goes in the crow's nest. No, it's the same number that goes in the dot. Those are all the same. All right, so you two want to give me a shot? Say yes, baby, I'm already back. Come on up. Come on. Sure, you can have whatever helpers you want. You can have a whole bunch of helpers.
Why is that so tiny?
My handwriting.
Well, let's make it big enough where people can see it.
Factors of 7. Oh my god.
Yeah, the negative is
Well, there aren't very many factors of 7. You should be happy.
So it starts down at 1.
You're right. You're right.
So if it was a negative, what? So it's chart out 10.
1 and 7.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do gospel podcast.
I actually have a question as well. How do I put any explanation in my calculator? Wait.
Alright, so this problem is wonderful because there are only a couple factors of 7. So your possibilities are really narrowed down. Are you gonna try 2? No. Are you gonna try 4? No, those numbers aren't in your list. The only numbers you're going to try are plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 7. You need to take care of that, Christian. You need to shake. Yes, you're right. Keep going.
Meaning that 1 and 7, that's over 1.
No, like they have.
This is my quiz. This is my
I got 1. 7 doesn't.
Right?
A blood
Make sure it bounces off.
That's what got my mentor. Oh, really?
What? It's 1 squared. This one. You can't forget about A. So it bounces off.
Whoa.
No.
What day you're
There you go.
Okay, I have a question. You make it over this is your original factor. So then you factor this is your second factor.
You have to have 3 factors. One of them is from here, and the other 2 are from the square.
So it's not square ball.
Only for the same. I mean, our last example, well, no, the last one was the same. One year before that, one was x minus 1, one was x minus 2, one was x minus 3. They're all different.
I'm always going to
I mean, not every problem has one of its roots. It's a good simple thing, so when I'm building good simple problems, it's a good thing for me to do. Okay, sit down. Are you guys done?
Oh my god.
All right, so we've got several versions of the kids' work, and everybody got basically the same picture and the same root. I want to point out, this one is a little bit different because these guys, for whatever reason, started with 7.
My fault.
Now, everybody on this end started with 1. Does it make any difference which one you start with? No, and in this case, they both work. But notice that when they divided out their 7, they got this quadratic. And when they divided out their 1, they got this quadratic. So you get a different quadratic depending on what number you divided out. But when you factor it, put it all together, you end up with exactly the same answer. Okay, how do we feel about that? Anybody have a question about one of the steps on the board here? If you are at your seats, are you working through it comfortably like the kids at the board? All right. Is a half sheet enough, or do we need a whole sheet of paper?
Was it only one problem?
One problem. But there's a lot of steps.
Take a 30-minute nap break.
Can
You take 30-minute nap break before.
No, we're not taking a 30-minute nap.
You guys are so immature.
What?
You got the whole rest of the night to sleep. You should be cherishing
I really
your
don't.
time.
You should
Be happy that you're in math class, boy.
That's
I am,
right.
boy.
You could be in some other boring class,
Like,
not something fun.
Like theology.
oh. Imagine you disrespecting the Lord like that.
No, I have this one with the classes.
Oh, I hate Jesus and everything about God.
All right, let's use the blank side, not the side that says quality control. That way you'll have a little more room.
I really don't know what to put on.
Anybody got a bonus?
Oh, birthday bonus!
Honest.
Trying to get ahead?
Using the blank side.
No.
We have a little more room.
Nick, you lost your talking. Don't make me text you.
No, you can't be talking while we're doing that. We are focusing on this. Everybody ready? Erase all this good work here. My birthday is
Whose birthday is it now?
mine yesterday. Oh, speaking of that, Mazzy, what'd you get for your birthday?
Come on, back.
What'd you get for your birthday? Oh my goodness.
Where do you race this so well?
Well, I'll tell you, the boys did a good job watching the Saturday school.
Satisfying.
Okay,
Strangely said.
Ow, man.
all right, here's your problem. Are you ready? No talking. Here it is. Directions say, oh, my marker's running out. Factor and sketch, which is exactly what we've been doing, what we just did. That's what I want you to do. And here's the problem. I don't know, do we have a bonus? I need a marker that works. Who has a bonus? When's your birthday? Okay, we haven't used it yet, Ethan?
Oh, man. Use mine.
All right, Ethan's bonus is 2 plus 2.
Yes.
And here's your problem. Now, please take a second and make sure you have copied it correctly. All right, make sure you've copied it correctly, and then do it. And please, let's not have any peripheral noise. just like the others. Things should be working out for you. If they're not working out, you need to probably take a double check. Make sure you haven't made a sign mistake or something like that. Why is this negative? How do you get negative? We're going to take a few more minutes, so those of you that are done, if you want to pull something else out and study it, you can. This is a no phone zone, no phones. Remember, ultimately, you need to be graphing, so don't forget to do the sketch. Very quickly, we got stuff we have to take care of. seconds to wrap it up. And we're gonna do this together, and then we've got a couple more sections we need to cover. So here we go. No, you're gonna be out of school in 20 minutes, 19 minutes. Stop it.
Is it good? Good like cut. Have sanitizer. No big bad stuff. It does seem to like just burning it.
Yeah, it's the alcohol in it. Okay, I need all the papers up. We should be done now. Here we go. Let's run through this together. Who found a number that works? This does not factor by grouping. So you found 2. Did a lot of people find 2? There are other numbers you could have picked, but you found 2. So we divided it out. And we ended up with this, right? Ethan, you need to turn your paper in, sweetie. What's left? You guys told me 2. You were right. 2 works. What's left?
X squared.
X squared plus 4x plus 3. Switch factors. How does that factor? X plus 3 plus 1, but don't forget that guy. So you have x minus 2. In a cubed problem, you should have 3 parentheses, right? So then my dots would go at 2, at -1, and at -3. Are any of those squared? Are any of those repeated? Are there more than one of any of those? No. Where does a cube start? Down? What are you doing, Joseph?
I was looking at schedule. Tomorrow.
Okay, well, let's worry about our schedule tomorrow. Right now, we're worried about passing pre-cal. There we go. Now, who has a question about that?
So that doesn't have that. When you have a cube, you should have 3.
Always. If you think about all the examples we did. All right, let's look at our note sheets now. We got a little bit of review work for synthetic division, and then we basically have one more page to go. Our next test will cover 2.6. So we got to finish this synthetic division, and then we have this last page. We're not going to get it all done today, but your homework will be due then not the first time I see you, but the second time. So I see you on Monday, and then do I see you again on Tuesday?
I think so.
Yes. So your homework is due on Tuesday. All right, that is a week from tomorrow. And that's 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5. Okay? Due next Tuesday. On Monday, we will have nothing to do except finish this page, and that will basically be part 7 because we're going to do 6 today. And then the rest of the time we can answer homework questions if you have them. Okay? But you've got 7 days, 8 days actually, to be working on this homework.
Do you have a set date for the test?
No, but my guess it will be either the Monday or Tuesday of the following week.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's my guess. Roughly, it'll be in that area. It will not be next week. It'll be, okay? So when's homework due?
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday after break, right. On Monday, if you spend some time during your break going through and finding the ones you have questions about. On Monday, we'll take time in class to answer homework questions, okay? All right. Now, we need to finish this though. So synthetic division practice. Everybody in the room knows how to do synthetic division. I just stuck in a couple tricky ones here. So what's tricky about A? There's something missing, so we'll put a 0. So we have 2, 0. Oh, I forgot my 3. And then -9 and 1. Now, does it look right? Out in the box goes a +2. Out in the box goes the same number that you would put on the number line. So if you were going to graph x minus 2, wouldn't you put your dot at 2? That's what you divide by, the same number that would be the dot. So down comes the 2, and here we go. Now, I don't know, I did that awfully fast.
I heard that. That's what I got.
That's what you got? And what does this represent now? This is 2 what? 2 x to the third, right. Because when you do synthetic division, you drop it down 1 power. This is the remainder, so we can write 27 over x minus 2. Just like when you do regular division. When you do regular division, and you have a remainder, it's over this, right? It's over what you divided by. All right, that's easy.
That's the final answer.
That's the final answer right there. Yep, all we're doing here is dividing. Just to make sure you've got it figured out. B, is there anything tricky in B?
No.
I don't think so. What goes in the box out here?
-1.
-1. Very good. So here we go. All right, now double check that work and see if I did that okay. Anybody match me? I don't want to make a careless mistake, especially on video.
That's right.
That's right. Thank you, Marlon. And one more. I don't see anything tricky. Oh, wait. So what do I write as my answer? 3x to the what? This is problem B.
3x squared.
3x squared minus 10x plus 19, and then minus 18 over x plus 1. That's my actual answer when I put the x's back in. When I do synthetic division, I take the x's out, and then at the end I put them back in. I don't think there's anything tricky about C either, is there? You guys are pretty good, so this is kind of a waste of your time, sorry. But sometimes it's good to know what's going on, right? To do something easy. So what are we putting down as our final answer? 2x squared minus 5, and then minus 1 over x minus 1. All right, we need to get through part 6, and then we're going to do something we've never done before, so hold on to your hats. Here we go, part A. Is x minus 1 a factor of this? Why or why not? So think about that for a minute. You know how to do this. We had one like this on that practice quiz we did. How do we know if it's a factor or not? Synthetic division? Could we do synthetic division? Yes. And we just practiced that. So one option we have is to take these numbers and divide by 1. What's the answer?
Yes.
Yes, it's a factor. And why is it a factor? Because when I did the division, the remainder turned out to be zero. And if the remainder is zero, you have found a factor. Now that's exciting. What's the shortcut? I mean, that's fine, that didn't take very long, but there is another method. What else could I have done? Plugged in 1. So if I wanted to, and this is completely up to you, plug 1 in. Well, 1 cubed is 1, 1 squared is 1, minus 4 plus 4. Doesn't that equal 0? So you could have done it that way. Why is it a factor? Because when I plugged in 1, I got a remainder of 0. Either way.
What?
All right, here we go. We go out the back door by Mr. Knowles' room.
Saved by the bell.
Out the back door by Mr. Knowles' room.
I took very good in math class, guys.
Quickly, you're not taking your stuff with you. We're gonna come back. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're coming back. Everybody out. Thank you. Okay, we have one more problem with you. Oh shit, I think it's this one. Oh, well. We have one more problem with you.
Laying down. All the moms.
Alright, let's get focused. We have one more problem to do. And we will do it regardless. The last problem says, is x plus 2 a factor of this? Is x plus 2 a factor of this? Somebody said no. Why'd you say no, Asia? Oh, you already did it.
Yeah.
So you already divided it out. And you got a remainder of something. Let's see if I match what you got. Did you get negative 15? So, the answer to the question, we got to answer the questions,
No.
is no,
Because
because there's a remainder of negative 15. And if you are a factor, what should your remainder be?
0.
Now, I thought maybe when Asia jumped on that problem, I should have known she was working ahead because she's so responsible and diligent. But I was thinking that maybe she noticed something. What are the PRRs of this problem?
-1.
Negative 1 and 1. So is there any chance at all that negative 2 would be a root? No. So that would be another way for you to tell in this particular problem. No, it's not a possibility, so it can't be a factor. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Those of you who are still paying attention? All right, we gotta wait for the blessing. All right, so homework is due a week from Tuesday. Our test will be like 2 weeks from today in that vicinity. I gotta plan out the days and see how it works. But it will be not next week, but